The stamina, especially like the zoo. I'd love to take my kids to the zoo. Can't quite get up the energy. Tried it like 2 years ago. Great for one, disaster for the other. We ended up leaving. But yeah, it takes a lot. It does, and it is isolating. It's been very isolating because it gets hard to go, hard to do. Can't tell you how many times for so long I couldn't sit through a movie. I couldn't sit through a conversation because like, oh gee, where'd he go? What was that noise? There's banging. Gotta go find out what the banging's about. So it's been very challenging.
Yeah, it was really hard on my son, who's normal. When Mallory got sick, her behavior, how she questioned people, was really odd, hard to put up with. And I think he really did not. He had one best friend that kind of knew what went on in our home, that he would let come over when things weren't too crazy. But other than that, he did not have friends in our house. And he's a little better about that now. But I don't know that he would bring them around her. I mean, she's certainly not welcome to stop by his apartment whenever she's never seen it, and that. But he does. I mean, I know he feels bad about that, and up until she lost her phone privileges, he would still call her every night before bedtime and tell her good night, even though she was really annoying and yelling at him, and that he doesn't blame her for that or anything, but he definitely did not bring friends home at all. So I think it was really hard for him, and then doing things as a family, and that we all, for my husband and I, we spend our time, if we're not with Mallory, we're worrying about her. When she's happy, you're happy. When she's miserable, you're miserable. You don't sleep most of the time. You worry no matter what's going on. And so for us, it wasn't a big deal to not go on family vacations and not do all the family gatherings and go out with friends and that. But it's kind of hard to watch. It was kind of hard to watch my son not be able to have friends over and things like that.
I was going to say pretty much the same. As I have my two older children, they would have friends over, but it was, please keep them upstairs, or please, and not in a mean way, because I love them, and I will say that I think my oldest two children are more compassionate than most children of their years, and have a lot of loving, and they've opened up a whole new world, maybe more human, as you would say. Mm-hmm. But then there's still that part of them when they're, one is 20 and one is 18. There's still that part of them, like, especially a few years ago, just keep them, just don't tamper it, They wouldn't have their friends over without me there to, and then you always have that third ear out to hear, is everything going smoothly? Has he gone down, and is he starting to, embarrass them, quite honestly? And so you're always kind of on guard to make sure that things can go smoothly for these other guys as well as for this guy without, and a lot of times we've been invited as families to go places with other people, and sometimes you agree, and sometimes when they were younger, we would drive two cars. So my husband and I would give the signal so the one of us could take the other take the other guy and get out of Dodge while the other two stayed to keep the typical normal socialization for the other half of the family. And my youngest son, he has ADHD, really ADHD, and he's a great kid, he really has it.
And then also, going through what we've been through, my children are of age to have families, and and they're struggling with, Mom, I don't want to have any kids, because my daughter's disease is a genetic disease, and there's a 50% chance they could have a child like Katie. And they've grown up with it, and they've appreciated it, and they understand the whole dynamics of it, but they're like, Mom, I don't want to go through what you go through, because it bothers me, because I've always tried to be that strong person to show my kids that, you can do anything you set out to do, but, and I think, well, I'm missing out on watching my kids thrive and have kids too, and I'm not being selfish, but in a way I guess I am, because, I don't know, it's just so hard.
Children with disabilities are much more likely to use physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy services. Coordinating and engaging in these services requires additional time and effort on the part of their families.
They say children with autism need to have their intervention service as soon as possible. However, I've been on a waiting list for a year and I can't get help. I'm one of those that, I can't get it because I'm not poor enough. I can't get it because I can't afford it. So I'm that in-between person that cannot pay for all these services that need help. And that is all I ask as far as medically is to help them step in with medical, bills and so forth.
She takes, a lot of times she's got 9 specialists and 6 therapists. And so balancing her schedule, which is really a full-time job for myself, and still having normal lives for the other kids has really been the struggle that we find. And like I said, I just don't work, so I don't even try to throw that into the mix.
Now you can get diagnostic help. You go get your child diagnosed. Okay, they can't help you with autism, but then they can help you with epilepsy and everything else. They will not help you with autism. So therefore, I'm stuck back at the beginning, trying to look for more help to go through so I could take him somewhere to get speech, occupational, and all that stuff. He doesn't have it except at school, and here school is saying we can only do 15 minutes. We can only do 30 minutes of OT. In speech, yeah, we can go ahead and do 90 minutes. We'll do that for you because we obviously see he's not speaking, so therefore we can do speech. But he needs more at home. And if you're that middle person, you cannot get help. And if you are somebody who doesn't work and you do stay home with your children a lot and so forth, and the income thing was what's really, really hard.
There's no other family close by and really nobody who can get involved because, it's a system that you have to learn. So I've sort of devoted my time to making sure she has what she needs. And, it's what I want to do, but it's stressful. And it's stressful when you hit a roadblock and you got to keep pushing and fighting. It certainly puts some pressure on the family too, but she needs it, she deserves it, and she's had a tough way to go, and I want to make sure that doesn't happen again for her.
The Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council funded this project, which was a collaborative effort among Anthony Gowdy of the James M. Anderson Center for Health Systems Excellence at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, Susan Haverkamp at the Ohio State University Nysanger Center, and Lauren Rambaum and Barry Jameson at the Ohio Colleges of Medicine Government Resource Center.